All right, welcome back to my first startup of the year. Went to the first two rounds the other day. Pick 8. We got Joe Burrows, Trevor Lawrence. Last pick was 104. So it's third round reversal. 14 team superflex. Start 2 tight ends. At the 301 right here. First pick, Brees Hall. All right. Second running back taken. It's pretty surprising that almost a full round before the next running back. But I mean, Brees Hall. You could argue Jahmyr Gibbs is the first. It's the RB1 because of how the game is switching towards more that complete back. Not complete, but that can play all downs pretty much. That can be that can line up a receiver, all that. But anyways, Brees Hall. 302, Jahmyr Gibbs. So honestly, it just depends who you want. If Brees Hall stays healthy and then Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, and he's fairly young. I think he's barely turned 22. Yeah, he barely turned 22. He was like 20 and then I think barely turned 21 at the draft. But anyways, Bijan, Brees, Gibbs. Those are my top 3 Dynasty assets at running back. And they're all interchangeable. It just depends what you want. They all have their faults. And they all have pretty similar ceilings, honestly. But if I had to pick, I think Bijan still has the most ceiling because he's pretty much a complete back. And the only reason Brees Hall's behind him is a year older. That's it. And Gibbs is just his elite receiver. And it looks like he showed he can play in the NFL. So just durability for his sake at this point because he is under 200 pounds and it just depends how much damage he can take in the NFL. Anyways, next is CMC. This guy right here, pretty good starting squad. A lot of each position top at their position. I mean, each pick top of their position. Next pick, this was surprising. Jared Goff. So this guy tried to trade for Trevor Lawrence. Like he was on the clock. He was offering me pretty weak offer. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. Looking at the running back board at this point, I was like, bro, it's trash. I don't wanna. It's like if I traded Trevor, it's like tier 4, a bunch of tier 4 quarterbacks left. I wasn't doing that. If anything, I would have picked like 106, and I don't think a quarterback's gonna be there. And then next, AJ Brown. Damn, what a far fall for AJ Brown here. I think around this time he got hurt and nobody knows if he was gonna be healthy. At this point we still don't know. Like they say it's like a knee sprain, normally just like a 2-3 weeks injury, but now that they're eliminated, who knows what's gonna happen. And then he's been acting like a diva lately too, which he's been throughout his career. But then Mark Andrews, man, I was ready to take Andrews here. Honestly, I wanted Brees and Gibbs. If they fell to me, I would have taken them. But I need, I've played in a lot of these leagues, 14 team, 2 tight ends, and I've always punted the tight end, and that's why I ended up with a lot of Michael Mayer, freaking Luke Musgrave, and keep picking the wrong one in the draft. 0 Laporta shares, 0 McBride shares. Anyways, got on the board, so I'm like, all right, next best thing, Dalton Kincaid. Honestly, I would have Kincaid over Trey McBride, tied with Andrews, only because McBride's situation is a little weird because he got spoon-fed targets, and eventually they're probably gonna draft Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors, whoever falls to them, and McBride's gonna take a back seat, at least in my opinion. I just feel like Kincaid has the better ceiling because he's tied to Josh Allen, who's has an aging Diggs, and Gabe Davis probably gonna leave. I mean, I'll understand both sides of the argument, but this stage, I think I'm just coping here. McBride or Kincaid, either one's a fine pick, whoever falls at this spot. And then I wasn't gonna trade out of this, even though people were sending me offers. I'm like, look, man, gotta lock in my tight end one, because after this tier, I also considered Hawkinson here, but I want to have the option to compete, and Hawkinson's probably gonna miss half the season, and that's a big hole to open up the season. Anyways, next, I also considered Garrett Wilson, but there's a lot of option at wide receiver in the next couple of rounds that tight end doesn't offer. So I have to shoot for the, more hard to get fantasy points position here. I mean, I wouldn't follow you to Garrett Wilson there. Next is the 105. I think this dude, no, I didn't trade up. So finally, after no trade in the first round, there's a trade in 206, first one, and then boom, boom, boom. Finally, start firing off. Next pick, Stafford. All right, this one surprised me because there's a chance Stafford retires, although he had a pretty great season. That question was like last offseason that, oh, this might be Stafford's last year, and then they somehow made the playoff, looked good in the playoffs. Stafford still looks good. You got Puka now. It's still too early for me, honestly. I'll probably take him like 5th round at the earliest, because assume he comes back next year. 35. So he plays till he's 37, 38 maybe. His arm strength's still there. It's still elite. And the Rams finally have draft capital, maybe to give him protection. It's pretty good tackle class, so I'm not saying it's a terrible pick. It's just too early for me with a lot of question marks. Although, man, he has Cup, hopefully healthy. Got Puka Nacua, best wide receiver last year, at least, as a rookie. You could argue he's, you can't. I mean, he's top 5 for sure, according to this draft. And next, Crystal Olave, damn. That's what happened when you have Derek Carr at quarterback, huh? Next pick, Kyle Pitts. Hawkinson, remember her Pitts. I was hoping Pitts got back to me. The hope that, he got a new coaching staff was kind of a bump, but he might get, I guess anything is an upgrade over Arthur Smith. But anyways, JT, all right. All the elite running backs are gone. And that's unfortunate, because we still don't have a running back. Oh no, this is Snake now, since after the 3rd round reversal. Alright, to the 4th round, Brandon Ayuk. That's pretty early. Just watched the game today, man. Packers really blew that one. Ayuk without Debo, he had a pretty good game. He bailed out Purdy a couple times. A lot of short weak throws from Purdy, but luckily Ayuk's pretty elite at catching, and he was able to corral and keep the drive going. I mean, he's shown he can be an elite receiver, but man, that offense has too many weapons that being a top 10 receiver, it's there, but it's gonna come in, bunches instead of consistency, I think. Assuming he stays on the Niners. Pretty sure Niners will keep Devo for 1 more year. McCaffrey, Kittle. The gang's gonna come back 1 more year for sure. Or until, they have to give Purdy a new contract. Anyways, move on. Tyreek, finally, wide receiver 2 last season. Got overtaken in the end because, he missed 1 game. Still pretty elite, but he said his last season is 2025. Said that last off season. That gives him 2 more years. Really risky play, but it's still elite. Next pick 106. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pick 107. So allegedly, that's the big tier break in this upcoming rookie draft. So I expect the next rookie picks to take longer. Jalen Waddle. All right, man. What a disappointment. He was supposed to be 1B Tyreek Hill this season, but he just looks like wide receiver 2. I mean, he's still shown flashes, but he's been hurt, which is unfortunate. Hopefully he stays healthy next season. John Watson, a little early, but honestly, I would have taken Watson over Stafford. Whoa, this guy? Oh, never mind. Oh, that's why this guy reached for Stafford. He traded this spot and then this spot. So QB1 is Stafford. All right, next pick, Drake London. So last offseason, he was going around this spot. Honestly, Atlanta just needs to get a freaking competent quarterback, and Drake London will show his promise. The thing about London is he's a great prospect. He's still only 22. He's younger than a lot of prospects coming out this year, so he's going to his 3rd year. Hopefully he gets like a mid-level, like Kirk Cousins. Like anyone is an upgrade over Heineke and what's his name, Ritter. And then Kyron Williams. Wow, like the fantasy superstar this season. 4th round. Damn. Drafting these running backs that just came out of nowhere is a little scary, especially this early. But the way that offense ran with Kyron Williams, he should have that backfield the next couple of years, because he's under contract for 2 more years. That's probably when Cup and Stafford might consider retiring in the next 2 years, along with Kyron Williams' contract, but we'll see. DJ Moore. So I struggled here, tried to trade out. Consider a lot of wide receivers. At the end of the day, I was like, all right, what's the most upside? I'm still not old enough. I can still move just in case. And who was wide receiver 6 last season? So I'm like, all right, DJ Moore. And then let's pray they're smart enough to take Caleb Williams, but pretty risky. Considered a lot of other wide receivers. I think considered Devonta here. Michael Pittman. I already had a lot of Devonta shares. I only had 1 or 2 Michael Pittman shares, but Pittman, I think he peaked. Wide receiver 13. 156 targets, 109. I think that's his ceiling right here. I mean, he could probably get he could double his touchdown, but like back end wide receiver was probably his ceiling. And DJ Moore with Justin Fields got wide receiver 6. So I'm like, all right. I think Pittman is 8 months younger, but ceiling took DJ Moore. I wanted Devonta, but I had too much Devonta. Then Devonta Smith went after. Mad. Zay Flowers. I tried to trade up here to get Michael Pittman. Dude wouldn't go for it. I'm like, alright, whatever. Then 108 goes. Then Pittman goes. So this guy, we had a standing offer. Pittman for DJ. Oh no, actually, try to trade up here too, but I was like, I'll let you know what happens in round 5. See who's available, and then we'll trade back. And then Tank Dell went. Wow, that's early. I mean, he was fucking amazing, but that's early. And Addison, man, what a great class. Wide receiver class in the end. Rashee Rice goes next. And then when Tank Dell went, it was a matter of time until Nico went. So there goes Nico. This guy got DK Metcalf. I was eyeing DK. And A-Chain finally. Elite talent. We'll see how it shakes out. next season. Mostert's 1 year older. Njoku, I considered Njoku here because, man, he had a great season. With Joe Flacco. What did he finish? Tight end 6. And then last season, tight end 10. And that's with 14 games. It's coming along nicely, but with Watson, he wasn't getting a lot of targets. With Flacco, he got a lot, so that might be an issue into the future. Projecting how well he'll do. And he's going to be 28, although he's a young 28. Anyways, move on here. JSN. I wanted JSN here. Tried hard to trade back. Instead I got T. Higgins. So I had a deal in place. T. Higgins for Michael Pittman plus I think like a 10th round, but I was like, in the end of the day, I was like, all right. I still got that Joe Burrow T stack if he decided to stay. But if he decides to leave, he'll be a wide receiver one somewhere, and I'd rather keep that extra pick. Although, you know, he's never been a wide receiver one in terms of fantasy. Full season last year, wide receiver 18. But that's with Jamar Chase. Hopefully he goes and become a wide receiver one somewhere. At least that's my hope. And boom, Ferguson. Wow. ETN, nice. Evan Ingram. I was hoping Evan Ingram next round. Kirk Cousins. Jeez, 14 team superflex is really freaking crazy. Stafford going on in the 3rd. Cousins in the 5th with 1 Achilles. Goes George Pickens. Pickens like off my draft board for some reason. He's like a boom or bust. Too much bust, too much boom. Finally, Jaden Reed. I kind of hope he got back to me, but knowing how that Packers rotate their wide receivers really, I want no skill players from that team. And then boom, George Kittle finally. Then let's do like some rapid fire here. I don't want like a 30-minute video. And Komet went, Levis, Will Levis, Bryce, 109, and then Michael Mayer went. Then I wanted Debo, and then I was like, all right. Tried hard, considered Kenneth Walker here, but I'm overweight on Kenneth Walker. I have too many, and I just didn't like the prospect that was available, so I'm like, all right. 110, let's see. There's like 6 projected first round receivers, 3 legitimate quarterback, maybe JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, Penix goes in the late round, and Brock Bowers. So 110 is not, it's out of that first tier, but for some reason Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman, A.D. Mitchell, JJ McCarthy, pretty decent option out there. So, and 111 went here. Then let's go really quickly to the next round. There goes Musgrave. Tight ends are crazy, and 2 tight ends. You gotta start 2 tight ends, and then the premium is 2 points. So you see why it's pretty crazy. And then boom, she goes Christian Watson. Low-key wanted him to fall. 111, Kenny Pickett. Wow, this was surprising because I think Mason Rudolph was named a starter for the playoff, and for some reason Kenny Pickett. But luckily, according to Mike Tomlin, Pickett is QB1 going into the season next year. So there's that. And then Daniel Jones. I was hoping for Daniel Jones in the 8th round, but 14 team superflex. These starting running backs gonna go by fast. And then Kelsey fell so hard. Somebody tried trading up with me here. I think they offered me like a 2/3, like a future third. I'm like, bro, that's not enough. But it's only to move like 4 spots. But 2 tight end and then 2-point premium. In this setting, Kelsey still scored. Kelsey was still like tight end 3 in a bad year, so I was like, if worst comes to worst, I'll trade him for like a, late first, which is essentially 113 here. I didn't want 113. I actually consider Rashad White. That's it, because I need a running back. Rashad White and James Cook. And then Rashad White went. Tried trading up to this spot. No dice. This spot, no dice. And finally, this dude accepted my trade with James Cook, RB1. All right, finally we have a running back. Our team right now. Our quarterback's set. Tight ends are set. 2 starting receivers and an anchor running back. And we got 110 in the rookie draft. Should be a decent wide receiver prospect, or maybe our quarterback. The 4th quarterback taken, or the 2nd tight end taken, or the 1st running back taken. But the running back class is so trash. But so we'll stop here. The end of round, where are we? Round 8. Last pick was Cooper Kupp. So y'all next. We'll go through like probably the next 8 rounds and probably faster. Alright, peace. Go Bills tomorrow, by the way.